Okay, welcome back, Ramona. This is always an interesting question that we have for people and get all sorts of unique answers about influencers in people's lives. Sometimes there's many, sometimes there's none, sometimes there's one, sometimes it's for a second, sometimes it's for a lifetime. Share with us what your thoughts are about influencers and with respect to any you've had or how you feel about yourself.
Okay. So I think it's an interesting question when I've thought about this in the past. I have not been fortunate enough to have had a lot of strong mentors in my life outside of my family, right? Most of it was because I was always so busy taking care of kids, whether they were my siblings or my own, taking care of the house, making sure things were getting done. So I didn't have a real big outside influence like coaches or teachers or things like that. I was also, because I was headstrong, I was also sort of, I kind of know it all kind of a thing, right? So I don't need you to tell me I kind of know it all. And, which is not a great way to be, but something that just kind of rises as you grow up the way I did. But what I learned was that because of that, it's really given me a huge passion to want to be that to others. And there's been so many times where I've shared my story about, being a teenage mom and going to college and having him be my little buddy on the handlebars of my bike as we went to school to drop him off at daycare, and all the things that I went through with him with me living at college, and that I could see really impacted women or girls who didn't think they had a chance, who thought once they got pregnant their lives were over. So that was kind of my first foray into wanting to sort of be more of a mentor to others and to really help others to grow, especially women. And that I think at HR has really given me a huge opportunity to be able to do that to lots of people and to really help them see kind of the potential and the opportunity when they otherwise might have thought they had none, especially coming from first generation Hispanic. And you meet a lot of people, again, cycle of poverty, cycle of lower education, all of the things that you see that are kind of stereotypical
Yeah.
in some of the first generation families. Being able to have them see that that's not necessarily their lot. That's not necessarily what they're going to have to do in life. I did not grow up with any money. I did not grow up with any financial support from my mom, when I got pregnant. And I wasn't born with any particular special gift. It was all something that you just have to kind of get the rings and grab onto them and just pull yourself through and keep fighting every day to be more than you are today and better than you were yesterday. And so for me to be able to show that to others in a way that gives them hope and helps them to understand what the possibilities are, I think has been really good for me. I think as far as real true influencers have been is my mother, of course, because without her strength, without her watching her do this with 4 kids, even though we struggled with our relationship our whole life, as you can imagine, because we're struggling for power, right? Struggling for who's the real mom. Yet I still can look back now and see all that she did for us and how hard she worked. She had really bad varicose veins, and every time we'd look at her legs, and we can see how she sacrificed as a nurse on her legs, doing that, all of that to provide for us and to give us something better than what she had. And she did. I mean, she did, and I was able to give my son a little bit better than what I had. And I hope that my grandson will have better than what his dad had. And I think as parents, that's our goal, right? Is that we leave a little bit better behind, a little bit better world, even if it's our own little family world, but really just a world in general. We leave better people behind than we came with, than we're part of our contemporaries. So my mother and definitely my son, having this child influenced my entire life. It influenced my choices to go to college. It influenced my speed to get through college, by the time I was 21, so that because I didn't have the money to keep racking up debt, right? It influenced my ability to go to law school because I thought that would provide us with a better life. So many things that I don't think I would have done. And even now, traveling the world, my desire to want to share that with my grandson and my son. I took them to Africa last year. This year, my son and I are going to Iceland and Ireland. But being able to now have the means to share with them those experiences, and have them and open their eyes to the world and the cultural diversity that's so critical. I see people who have never left their little bubble,
Right.
and they are so it really creates kind of a narrow-mindedness because you just don't know what's out there. I want my grandson to see that not every kid has a PlayStation and a game. I don't even know what they call them these days, but a PlayStation and a handheld game thing. We called them Game Boys, and
Hmm.
skateboards and bikes and everything that they could want. And not every child has that, and he should be so grateful and so lucky. And how's he going to turn that around in his life to make sure that others do better? So, so I think really as far as influencers go, those have been the kind of the key people.
Well, it's great. Thanks for sharing that because it shows that we can learn from influencers even if they don't know they're influencing us, and we're always influencing somebody one way or another, whether it's a smile or just a hug or whatever it may be. So congrats on taking all that influence and putting it to being influential, which is what Leaders Who Care do. So that's really really cool. So thanks for sharing all that.
Great, thank you.